Hi guys, this is Nathara at CrowSong Lodge, and now I'm doing day 22 of Ethony Dawn's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge in the middle of February. Because I'm late, like I said I'd be, but you've already heard that 3 times now. So, today's prompt is to share the tarot card that was the hardest for you to get, and how do you feel about it now? And if you've been watching my videos for a while now, and if you haven't, why not? You should totally go back and do that. But if you've been following me for a while, then you know that I didn't really get the minor arcana until I was well into my teens, which is the whole lot of them. Now, unlike a lot of other people, the court cards were really easy for me to get. It was the rest of the minor arcana, the pips, what you would normally call the pips, that were really, really hard for me to get, the ace through the 10. And I couldn't figure it out. And it wasn't until I got Eileen Connolly's Tarot for the Apprentice that I finally got them to click. And that's because, and I don't have my mother's books with me right now, but her books that she had were very much like you open the book. They were like a big version of the little white book, right? You open the book, you turn to a card, and it says like meaning, celebration, joy, good news, good luck, good fortune, new beginnings. That's it. There's like no logic for why this card means that. So unless you like agonized over all these cards, you couldn't pick up a real system. And Eileen Connolly's Tarot for the Apprentice was the first time I was introduced to the numerology plus elements system of tarot. And that's when it all clicked. When aces were ones, ones had a certain energy, twos had a certain energy, 3 had a certain energy, and I'm not sure why I'd never put it together before, because I had studied numerology on my own. Nope, now that I said that, I do know why. Because my mother was very much into the astrological meanings associated with the cards, and astrology just never worked for me. I could never figure it out. Still am having trouble with that, but I'm working on it. So that the number sequences there was no system to the pips for me before that. But once she pointed out that there was an elemental association for each suit, and you could use the numerological associations for each number, it made perfect sense. Okay, so the Ace of Cups was the 1 of water, and that made perfect sense for me, and I just knocked a deck of cards off the table. Check that out. They're not going to appreciate that. But yeah, so for me, it wasn't just like one card I struggled with, it was the entire pips. The minor arcana was just a struggle for me so much. And even though I had understood the court cards before then, because they made sense, that was just people, connecting those suits to elements made it so much easier. Being able to think of people as a combination of the positive and negative attributes of elements made it much easier instead of just being keywords. And then I was able to move away from the physical descriptors and associations, like stereotypical associations of people who look like that, and move more into an elemental association. It has really expanded my reading ability quite a lot. So at that point, I had probably been reading the cards for like 9 years before they even, or more like 7 probably. Yeah, like when I was 15 or 16. So yeah, so it took me a very, very long time, and it wasn't until someone introduced that system to me that it really made sense. And before then, all the tarot decks I had owned, and all my mother's tarot decks, were not so illustrative, except for the Rider-Waite deck, which I've always had a very strong disliking for. Were not very illustrative of the minor arcana. They were just like a picture of 6 wands. And so that doesn't help. So yeah, so for my one card I struggled with, the entire minor arcana. So if you're struggling as well, keep at it. Sometimes it takes some time, and when it clicks, it clicks. And if it's not clicking, just keep working at it. Keep looking around, keep getting other people's point of views and how they do it, because it doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means someone hasn't said it to you in a way that makes sense yet. It's not a failing on your part, okay? So that's my struggle. I had a really hard time, and yes, until then, until high school, I was using my little white book to do tarot interpretations. So yeah, I was reading for myself and on occasion for my high school friends, but that was it. And I was using the little white book to figure it out. So, hope that helps. Ethart CrowSong Lodge, signing off.